Hello, this video covers the course requirements for Philosophy 102 Introduction to Ethics. To begin, welcome to Philosophy 102. This course is a general introduction to ethical theory and practice, covering ethics, metaethics, and applied ethics. And this comes from the course description. The outcomes for this course are that after taking the course, you should comprehend philosophical writings dealing with morality in order to paraphrase, illustrate, explain, critique, challenge, and/or write philosophical coherent arguments concerning these writings. You'll apply the commitments required by various moral frameworks uniformly across a variety of moral situations. You'll be able to reflect on and evaluate ethical arguments from diverse sources in order to communicate effectively with others who have different opinions. You'll be able to critically analyze values and ethics within a range of human experience and expression to engage more fully in local and global issues. All right. The text for this book is called Ethical Choices: An Introduction to Moral Philosophy with Case Studies by Richard Berner and Yvonne Raleigh from Oxford University Press in 2018. So there in the bottom of the frame is a picture of the front of the book. If you have access to it, I will also say, certainly I encourage you to buy the book, but because of our world conditions and the fact that the bookstore is not currently open, I will also be posting PDFs of every chapter that we look at. So I'm someone who loves to own books, so I have a copy of the book, and I would encourage you to get one as well. But if you can't, for whatever reason, there will be PDFs of each chapter available online. These PDFs are also scanned for OCR, so you can copy and paste from them as need be, and you can take them with you on any of your devices so that you can study wherever you are. All right. As far as my communication policy, you can reach me in a variety of different ways. A very common way is to reach me through Canvas message, and this is certainly acceptable. You can also reach me through my BMCC email, which is nnash@bluecc.edu. Now, between the two of these, if you want the fastest, it is definitely my email, because I sit in front of my email all day on most days. However, Canvas message is okay, but I check into Canvas multiple times a day. But the fastest way, if you need to get a hold of me quickly, is email. But either way is fine. I'm also available for face-to-face Zoom meetings as needed. So certainly, if you have something that you want to talk to me about, please reach out. My schedule is very flexible. I'm always happy to meet with students. And so just let me know what you need, and I am happy to meet with you and talk about anything to do with the class. Now, if you reach out to me through Canvas message or email, I will usually respond to messages within 24 hours, and often much, much faster than this. However, sometimes I am a little slower on Saturdays, so I tend to take Saturdays off and not look at my email or messages at all. So if you happen to, for example, email me on Friday night, I might not see your message until Sunday morning. But otherwise, during the week, you usually get a very fast turnaround. Okay, now we're going to go through the course requirements. Okay, so this course has a variety of elements. The first is the weekly assignments. These are worth 20%. The second are weekly discussion boards, also worth 20%. There's going to be a case study analysis paper 1, worth 15%. You'll have the opportunity to write your own case study for 15% of your grade. You'll have case study analysis paper 2, and then a final exam, also worth 15%. So 4 assignments worth 15%, and then a bunch of little assignments that add up to 20 for the weekly assignments, and then 20 for the discussion boards. So something to keep in mind is that given the online nature of this course, it's important to keep up on the weekly work because, as you can see from the top there, that is where 40% of your grade is ultimately wrapped up in. So how these weekly assignments and weekly discussion boards work. There's a variety of different kinds of weekly assignments. Sometimes they are historical readings. Other times, and more often than not, they're overviews of the chapter from the book that we're looking at. This usually involves watching the videos where I go over the readings and reading the book and answering some questions. Now, just a note on this, I post the videos and I also post the reading. If you prefer reading to watching videos, you should be able to get, in most cases, everything you need from the reading as opposed to the videos. I'll tell you when you need to watch the video. When there isn't a reading, that'll be pretty obvious. But don't feel like you have to do both. And if, on the other hand, you don't like reading so much, but you do like watching the videos, you can get the content from the class from just watching the videos for the most part. So it's up to you, and certainly I think the best is a combination of the readings and the videos. There's also going to be text discussion boards, and on text discussion boards, I request that you make one main post, which I will clearly explain how to do this, and then 2 replies. And depending on the week, there'll be somewhere between 1 to 2 text discussion boards. I'm also going to have a video discussion board that will involve 1 post and 1 reply. So more on this in the video discussion board for the first week. This is something I've tried in a couple of my classes to not much success, but I think that I have it figured out, and hopefully that this is the quarter where it works. We'll also have 1 weekly case study assignment each week, and this will more than likely usually be a discussion board, but you will see how this assignment works when you get into it for this week. So my grading policy for weekly assignments and weekly discussion boards, I grade these using what I call an 8, 9, 10 scale. So this means that any reasonable attempt at the assignment will receive a minimum of 80% or an 8 of the available points. So each of these are worth 10 points. So the worst that you can do if you submit something that you gave a reasonable attempt to is 80%. In the case where it doesn't seem to me that you gave it a reasonable attempt, I think we all know what this means. I will give you less of a score. And I grade this way because I don't want you to be afraid that your grade is going to suffer if you don't know the answer to a question, because you want to try something out, because you want to push the boundaries. So don't worry about any of these things. As long as you turn in the assignments, the worst that you can get is an 8 out of 10. So my late policy for weekly work, so I set due dates for each assignment to mimic an in-person course that meets twice per week. So the assignments are due on Tuesdays and Thursdays. This is what Canvas will tell you. And my intention is to try to encourage you to spread the work out throughout the week. However, I don't enforce a late penalty. Instead, each week's assignments close on Monday morning at 8 a.m. the week after they're posted, and they're no longer accessible after that. So I make the available until date the Monday morning at 8 a.m. the week after the assignments are posted, and you have until then to finish the assignments. Okay? So if you need any extra time to complete a week's assignments for any reason, just let me know before the assignment is due, and I'm happy to give you more time. Now, I don't need to know a reason. It doesn't matter to me. You certainly can tell me a reason if you would like, but you don't have to. You can just say, hey, Dr. Nash, I need a little bit more time on this week's assignment, and I'm happy to give it to you. So these tend to come in on, Sunday afternoons or Sunday evenings, which is totally fine. But just know that it sometimes takes me a little while into Monday to set Canvas up to make it so that you can turn in the assignments. But again, I'm happy to do that. And if you contact me after the assignment is due, I'm unlikely to give you an extension on it. All right. So to kind of just go through this again quickly, I have the assignment due dates set up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but the date that really matters is Monday morning at 8 a.m. And again, I encourage you to try to spread the work out throughout the week. I think it's better to do it that way. It's also much better for me to keep up with the grading. The other assignments, case study analysis 1 and 2. You're going to have the opportunity to analyze 2 case studies in this class. We're actually going to have the opportunity to look at and to think about a whole bunch of different case studies, but you'll have the opportunity to analyze 2 very closely. These case studies can come either from our book, the first one will certainly come from the book, or the second case study can come from your write your own case study assignment, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. And I'll explain exactly what goes into each case study analysis early in the quarter, probably next week. However, there is an overview in our book on those pages listed there with the title Guideline for Case Study Analysis. That'll give you a pretty good idea of how we are going to do it. Now, the Write Your Own Case Study assignment. For this assignment, you'll have the opportunity to create your own case study modeled on the case studies found in our books. And it can be on any topic you like. And again, I'll provide more information on this assignment a few weeks before it's due. There's also a final exam for this course. So this exam is sort of a take-home style exam. I realize we are all in our homes, but in any case, what I mean by take-home style here is that it's not proctored, and you can do it at your own time. There's going to be no surprises with this exam. You'll have access to the questions before the exam is due, and you can take as much time as you would like to complete it. And the final exam will involve reviewing and making use of material from throughout the quarter. So how I like to put together my final exams is to give students the opportunity to interact with the material one last time, and often to go back through most of the material from the class to put it together in some particular kind of way, to have the opportunity to review it and have the opportunity to reflect on it all. So it just gives us one last chance to go through all the stuff we thought about and to try to order it in some way. So again, there's not going to be any surprises with the final exam. You'll have access to it before it's due, and my hope is that it can be a fairly low anxiety situation. And I certainly look forward to those in my life. Now, the late policy on these other assignments, the papers and the exam, any of these assignments turned in late will receive a 5% penalty for each day that they're late, up to 25%. But after 25% or 5 days, you'll no longer lose points. The purpose of this policy is to encourage you to turn in your work on time, but for there also to be a reason to turn in your assignment no matter how late they are. And again, my extension policy here works exactly the same. If you need an extension for any reason, just ask me before the due date, and I'm happy to grant it. So, I'm really looking forward to this class. Let's have a great one. If there are any questions or concerns about any of these requirements, please note it in this assignment.